2 years ago that you guys released an instrumental record, right?
Yeah, two.
Using more samples, more electric drums, right? Electronic drums,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
really loved that record. I think, and I remember that it was kind of like a experiment for you too at the time, right?
yeah. I think that was the first time I started talking to you, man.
Yeah, probably.
Around
Yeah,
around that
probably.
time, maybe
Yeah.
a bit before. Yeah. My So you're saying you were moving home and stuff.
Hmm.
We've been like doing the same thing, and it started around the end of 2019, right when everything went crazy,
Hmm.
and then we're still like renovating, but um, we've been in that process for like 3 years, and in that time when I made that album, most of my equipment was in the storage unit because I didn't have anywhere to keep it because I
Hmm.
was in the middle of places. I was like staying with family, and it was like, well, you can't have all your equipment in here. There isn't the space. So I had to put it in a unit, like my drums, all of my amps and stuff. The only thing I had was like a guitar, which I couldn't record because it was an electric and I didn't have an amp. Um, I had like a MIDI keyboard. Can you hear that?
Vaguely. No, no worries.
So
Yeah.
someone's like mowing the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a MIDI keyboard, and I had a bunch of like, I basically have my archives of recordings, everything I've ever made. Like you keep all the files. I'm guess you're probably the same with video.
Yeah.
So I've got loads of drum recordings and stuff from all different old songs.
And sorry, can
So
I
I
ask
kind
you,
of
are you organized with that, or it's pretty messy?
yeah.
Pretty
It's,
organized?
I'm actually pretty organized. Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
it's
Yeah, I
one
am
it's
a.
one it's one place where I am quite organized.
Oh,
I'm a bit messy in my head, but with
uh,
with that I'm okay. But
mhm. Great.
so I had all that stuff, and then my granddad passed away in 2020 at the start of the year, and I really, really wanted to make something for him. And obviously, the thing I can do is music, so I wanted to make a tribute to him, and I was so like desperate to do it that um, I took that MIDI keyboard. I went through all my old recordings, and I started to write songs just with the MIDI keyboard and different sounds. And I'd hear like if I had like an idea for a beat, I'd go through all of my old stuff and find the closest thing to that beat because I've recorded hundreds of songs. And then I would like cut it up and change the tempo and kind of edit it. I guess it's more like a hip hop production or something, that kind of way, and like
Mhm.
kind of fit it all together, like cut it up and fit it together, which is really exciting because I've never really worked like that. And I managed to make something, and I was really happy with how it turned out. And then I figured I'll just try and make a whole record just with that keyboard
Mhm.
and like I had a couple of like 808 samples and then all my old drum recordings. And that's it, just went from there, man.
Oh, cool. But would you say that your inspiration about your grandfather, it was your grandfather? That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
You think
yeah.
that that was kind of like around all the music, all the
It's
tracks and everything?
definitely, yeah, it's definitely in like most of
Uh,
it for sure.
yeah.
Um,
I think it's a great record because it's very different from the stuff that you guys. I can definitely feel that hip hop kind of production
yeah,
that you said, and the if I remember correctly, the album opens and ends with kind of like a recording of his voice, right?
yeah. The start is called Bluebell. That's my sister's name,
Mhm.
my little sister, and that's her voice. Like the childish voice that's like
Oh,
singing,
okay.
and you can
Yeah.
hear all the adults like encouraging her.
Uh-huh.
Well, my granddad used to have this tape there, and he used to hide it down next to his chair that he sat in.
Mm.
And then when we were in his house as kids, he would like sneak his hand down and start recording us.
Oh
And
yeah.
then he'd play it back, and we'd all be confused, like we can hear
Mm.
our voices. He'd like kind of mess with us. And that was one of the recordings, as he recorded my little sister. Like
That's great.
that recording's like over 20 years old. but I
Mhm.
found it because I've got all these tapes of his, and you can hear his voice talking to her on it. And then at the end, so he used to record himself playing piano sometimes on cassettes. And my sister's voice cuts off, and then you hear the old recording from before, and he just plays like a big chord on the piano.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it just seemed like perfect to me, man,
Yeah, yeah.
so I had that as the intro. And then in at the end of like 2019, he was like talking to my nan, and they were kind of they used to tease each other, and even in their 90s, you could tell they were still like having fun with each other and just really in love. And I thought, I'm gonna get him back. I'm gonna record him, and I recorded him on my phone, and he didn't know about it. And I recorded him and my nan having this conversation, and I used samples from that on the last song. So that's his voice talking I think he would have been 94.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
it's quite recent. And I was really lucky I got that. I just
Yeah.
had this feeling. I was like, I need to record this moment. Like, I need it.
Uh,
And then obviously when he went, I had something I could use.
that's
And
great.
then,
Yeah, that's really
so yeah,
beautiful.
I thought it was a good way to kind of bookend it, you know? It
Yeah.
moves around in between. Some of it's not really to do with him, but most of it is. And it comes back to him. Yeah.